Good morning. This is Angela with a cup of tea on Monday, August 15th, 2011. Third time is a charm because I've done this twice, and both times I got through it completely differently with completely different parts of the topic, and I'm like, wow, there's so much to this that I could probably do and spend 2 weeks solid on it before even moving on to the next topic. But we're going to give it a go. I'm just going to cut right to the chase. So we are going through, as we've talked about in all the previous webcasts, we're going through such a change on this planet, not just energetically, but physically. A lot of things are falling apart, tumbling down. I've talked about that before, things that don't serve us, energetically, spiritually. And we're changing the way we live. We're changing the way we look at things. And in the process, what's happening is we are expanding back out to our consciousness, being connected in with our higher selves and having the bigger perspective and remembering that we're all in love, we're all one, and we're all divine, and we have all of the empowerment inside of us of everything that we need. So in the meantime, since we're making such a huge shift, we've been living for thousands and thousands of years, as I've said, disempowering ourselves and from the egos which have ruled us from the experience of what's going on right here on the 3D plane, instead of looking at things, I guess, laterally and more assimilated to the larger expanded universe. We've really confined ourselves to right here and right now on the earth plane. And in doing so, we've created this duality. And my understanding is this. My understanding is that we created duality for the experience because we wanted to experience opposites. We wanted to experience contrast. So white and black, light and dark, good and evil, love and fear. And we're about done with it. We're like, you know what? Okay, we got through this. We're ready for Earth 2.0, which I'm going to sort of review that for a minute because I had somebody ask me this offline. Which was, what do you really mean by Earth 2.0? And I'm talking about the new Earth, what we're working towards, and getting to an enlightened place and changing the way we exist into a new dimension, into a new connectedness, or an old or back around to our connectedness, and living from love and living from the heart. So that's what I mean when I say Earth 2.0. But anyhow, so we're working towards that. And what's happening is we are starting to expand out in our consciousness and saying, you know what, we don't have to just be existing by the rules on this 3D earth because it's only one of very many levels of existence and many levels of consciousness. And we are taking back our power, and we are getting rid of those walls and clearing out the labyrinth, as we had talked about last week. And we can play by a whole new set of rules if we want to, because we created them. And the ego is going, oh, no, 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 you must do this. So what's happening is you get this, like we're getting ready to get rid of duality, and the ego's going, no, 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 that's dangerous, and we can't do that. That's a law. That's the way we have to exist. And we're saying, no, we're done with it. So there's this little friction going on, and almost like a polarity right before the shift of connectedness, of bringing it back together and eliminating that. And what happens is this: if we face our fears and we face our darkness within us and around us, and we accept it with love as it is right now, today, and understand that it is all part of the journey, it is all part of the experience that we all wanted to have. As soon as we do that, it goes away. There is no duality anymore because there is no dark, because then we love all and it's all light. So like as we're getting to that, like I said, we have this one end of us that's getting really polar, going, oh no, panicking, the rational, what they call the rational mind or the ego. No, 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 we have to live by these rules. But you know, the rules are changing and we're changing them. And you know, look at the quantum physics and all the awesome stuff that's going on today with, you know, the way we can look at things that we've never been able to look at them before and connect consciousness with technology and all that kind of stuff. It's just amazing. So what's happening, though, is that there are many, many people, because we haven't all gotten to the point where we can consciously manipulate our creation, or remember to consciously manipulate our creation. And so we're still in that habit of living from fear. And living from fear is creating more fear, creating more darkness, creating more polarity and duality. So if that's your choice on your journey, it's the right one. That's okay if that's what you prefer. But we've also, we're in the habit. We're in the habit of, I've said that about thousands and thousands of years of disempowering ourselves. And we've become drama addicts on top of it. And people laugh when I say that. It's like we're all drama queens. Not all, but, many of us are. Until we realize, oh, I don't need to have this. I can still have fun and still have, challenge and excitement without having drama. And that's what a good portion of those of us who are still living in fear are doing. For example, how many people do you know who all they can talk about are their physical ailments? They talk about, or they won't do something because they're afraid of this happening. I'm afraid. Oh no, I'm not gonna do that. I'll break my legs, or I'll break my arm, or I'll fall off and die, or whatever. I see that all the time, or hear that all the time, and I'm like, well, you're creating that. It's giving energy to that thought again. That's the creation within us. That's the divinity. And as soon as you give energy to that, you're creating it. So if you're living by it, well, then you're living in fear. You're living in, and a lot of times what I've learned in a lot of this work that I've done is you ask yourself, so what? What if that happens? What if I die? I just really transfigure, transmute, transform into another, transition into another form. And that all depends on your personal belief too. And that's where a lot of people get stuck because of like issues with divinity, with being loved. I think those are two of the most basic ones. And feeling like they have to continue on agreements that they've had at etheric levels for long time, for a long time, including following the laws that we've created. So once we can realize that, and once you dig down to that belief and those belief systems, well, guess what? You know what? It stops being so fearful, because then you're like, well, yeah, so what? And it takes a lot of work. I'm not going to fully into thinking, it's an overnight thing. I still have days like that. I still had, like yesterday even, I had a funky day. And I woke up and I just, something hit me wrong. And the key is, though, that we are working towards enlightenment. And if we want the most easy and graceful path, and if we don't, that's your choice too. But if we want the most easy and graceful path, then the first step is to recognize when one of those fears or anxieties comes up, so that you can ask yourself, so what? So yesterday I was having one of those funky mornings, and I don't have very many anymore, but they come up, and so then I was like, okay, so what's bothering me? And I went and meditated, and I got all straightened out, and I was a lot better last night, and I'm much better. I'm back to normal today. But that goes with everything that we live by. People are afraid to do so many things. Oh, well, I don't want to go in the woods. I'm going to get bite a tick, and I'm going to die from, or I'm going to get Lyme disease, or I'm going to die from Rocky Mountain spotted fever, or whatever. Well, it's so funny, because then you're creating that reality as soon as you say that. If you say, I am healthy, I am vibrant, I am emanating my divinity, and it is impervious, guess what? It happens. And you don't get sick. You don't die from Rocky Mountain spotted fever. And if you do get any kind of like sickness, it passes really quickly and you bounce back. It's all this shift and this training, this retraining that we are working towards on our enlightenment path. Again, and you don't have to follow that. You can choose to have a more dramatic way, because in many ways, like I said, many of us are still drama addicts. I mean, look at our news, look at our society, and look at, oh, well, the sensationalism and stuff. Well, that's all being drama addicts. And you can still change your belief to say, you know, I can still have a fun time and exciting time without having drama involved. But the key here is to accept and love instead of live in fear. And releasing fear, because it's okay to have fear. It's just, that's just an indicator of something we have to release. And when you can start recognizing it, oh, well, why am I afraid of, you know, getting Rocky Mountain spotted fever, or why am I afraid of getting bitten by a tick? And you can go down this list because you think it happened to somebody else, and you think it's going to happen to you, or, you know, is the glass half empty or is the glass half full? It goes back to that. So, you know, I'm just getting started on this topic, but I have gone over, and it's almost 11 minutes already, so I'm going to let you go. And I want you to think about that this week. What is it that you're living in fear from, and how can you release it? What is it that's causing that fear so that you can release it and then move on and clear yourself a little more up that path to enlightenment. So on that, have a great day. This is Angela with a Cup of Tea.